measure is and who I am in truth, that having known me in truth immediately enters into me. Through the supreme bhakti devotion, the devotee comes to know God in truth. He becomes familiar with God. He begins to recognize God. How does he know God? He knows who God is and about the greatness of God, and that is why he knows God in truth. He knows God's real self. He knows God's true self. The word tataha, meaning then, is used. And after knowing God in truth, he immediately enters into God. The word tadantaran is used meaning immediately. The word vish means to enter. Having knowing God in truth, he immediately enters into God. To know is to enter. To know is to be. To know God is to be God. If you know someone, then you become them. Tada pashya tada bhavat tadasi. He saw that, he knew that, and he became that. And when he became that, then he realized that he was that. This is a sentence of the Vedas. When he saw that, he knew that, and he became that. And when he became that, he realized that he was that. He was no different. Just like Napoleon's quote that I came, I saw, I conquered, the moment when the person comes within close proximity of the Supreme Truth, having developed through his several births, then he becomes one with the Supreme Truth. If you go within a certain range of a magnet, then you cannot remain different from the magnet, and you become pulled by the magnet. This is what happens. Then you have to struggle, but if you wish to become different from it, people who are dualists in the school of thought of Madhvacharya have to make efforts to remain separate from the Lord. I'll give you a simple and worldly example in order to explain this. There's a mother and a child. They become separated, and both of them are looking for each other. The mother is waiting, thinking that will my child come? And the child is thinking, when will I be able to see my mother? 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and 20 years ago, then such circumstances arise that suddenly the mother and the son stand in front of each other. The son realizes that this is my mother, and the mum realizes that this is my son. The moment when she realizes this, then does she have to go and tell the son to hug her? Or the moment when the son realizes, then does the son have to go to the mother to hug him? The moment when they realize who they are, then both of them run towards each other and hug each other. The mother says, son, where are you? And the son says, mother, where are you? Nobody tells them to do what they're doing, and they do not even tell themselves that you should go and run there. Sometimes when people meet someone now, then they think in their minds that, should I hug them? Will they like it or not if I hug them? You have to think a lot about it. But if you have an endless amount of love towards someone, and there are mutual feelings on both sides, then when both of these two stand in front of each other, then do they have to think about this? In the same way, the individual soul and the Supreme Soul are like the child and the mother respectively. The individual soul wishes to go towards the Supreme Soul, and on the other side the Supreme Soul has so much yearning that the individual soul comes and meets him. And when they're standing in front of each other, then the individual soul enters into the Supreme Soul. The individual soul has realized that this is the Supreme Soul and the Supreme Brahman, and immediately enters into the Supreme Soul. You cannot stop that process, and at that time it is easy to be one and it is difficult to be different. While speaking to a great saint from the Madhvacharya sect, Guruji gave this example. He was sitting there holding on to the dualistic school of thought. Guruji said that dualism is natural. Guruji told him that we accept that dualism is natural, he said that dualism is natural. Guruji told him that we accept that dualism is natural, but for materialistic people who have not turned towards the Supreme Soul, when they turn towards the Lord once, then non-duality is natural for them. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya promoted non-dualism. How can one remain different when they see the Supreme Soul? On the contrary, if one remains different, then they will experience impurity. There's peace in being one. There's peace in being combined. Let's go to the next verse.